We are live.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Today, we are here to hear from uh, uh, eminent Kashmiri expert Shri Sushil Pandit ji. My name is Ajit Kadakol. I am co-hosting this with Shivas Dhar. I'm a physician in Michigan region, and I have had the honor of meeting Pandit ji recently last year when he had come to Michigan. I have been a Sanatani activist even when I was in India 2 decades ago. After coming to US, after settling down in Michigan, I have again become active in Sanatani causes. My co-host is Shivas Dharji. He's an automotive engineer by profession. He's a leading Kashmiri activist here in Michigan. He has gone through the turbulence in Kashmir himself, and he's here with us. Ma Rajalakshmi ji is lives in New Jersey. She was born in she's been a Sanatani soldier and is currently living in New Jersey, as I said. She's also the official contact person for Sushil Pandit ji, Pushpendra Kulshreshtha ji, General Bakshi, Sood ji, and Shankaracharya ji. We also have on the panel here Mr. Ashok Buddy. He's a leading community activist here. He has great reverence for Sanatana Dharma. He was a co-founder of the Shirdi Sai Baba Temple in Rochester Hills, Michigan. Also a member of Sai Datta Peetham in New Jersey. Due to his background and years of experience in media, Tollywood, he has a flair for creative ventures. He's recently started a monthly online musical concert benefiting various social causes. Also is putting efforts to have a Sanatana Dharma fund globally to help the people globally working on this cause. We also have Shri Hari here. He is a entrepreneur in Michigan. He's actively involved in various community service activities and is part of different initiatives. Hari also takes care of all the technical aspects for these online events and truly believes that proper awareness of our history is essential for to set the path for future. Lastly, we have Srini Tontaji, a holistic personality balancing his interest in the community and entrepreneurship. He is currently CEO of an IT company based out of Detroit, chair of a non-profit startup committee. He truly believes that each soul is divine and enjoys creative collaborative efforts towards community synergies with a big picture in mind. With having introduced the panel, I will ask Ma Rajalakshmi ji to introduce Sushil Pandit ji now.
जी नमस्कार, जय सिया राम, हर हर महादेव,
हर हर हर
हर हर महादेव, जय जय सिया राम,
जय जय सिया राम
जी. Whenever I call Pandit ji and my Guruji Maharaj Barfani Dada ji, he says Jai Siya Ram. So I've been used to saying that for past 30 years, and Pandit ji responds back with Jai Jai Siya Ram. ये जो उद्घोष है, ये कुंभ मेला में जितने भी लोग आते हैं, जितने भी साधु संत महंत महर्षि मंडलेश्वर महामंडलेश्वर, एक ही नारा होता है, एक ही शब्द होता है, जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम. तो मुझे इतना आनंद आता है पंडित जी, जब आप मेरा रिस्पॉन्स जो है उसके बाद आप जो रिस्पॉन्स देते हैं जय जय सिया राम, आई गो बैक टू कुंभ मेला. Literally, I go back to Kumbh Mela with my guru and those millions of sadhu. हमारे साधु महंतों को इतना बदनाम किया है, एक बार कुंभ मेला में जाकर के तो देखो, उनके सानिध्य में रह कर के देखो. I feel the most protected, honored, revered than nowhere else. So with that, जय सिया राम. अगर आप भी कोई कहे ना जय सिया राम, तो जय जय सिया राम बोला करो पैनलिस्ट जी. अच्छा, मेरे ऊपर मेरा ये आदेश है अशोक बादी जी का, अजीत जी का, बाकी सारे पैनलिस्ट जी का, कि सुशील पंडित जी को मैं इंट्रोड्यूस करूं. एक्चुअली आई आस्क्ड देम इसलिए कि पंडित जी का जो एसेंस है वो सबके सामने लाना जरूरी है. सभी जानते हैं पंडित जी कश्मीरी प्रोमिनेंट लीडर है, इंटेलेक्चुअल है, हिस्टोरियन है, वेदांती है, आउटस्पोकन एक्टिविस्ट है। भारत में या भारत के बाहर जितने भी एनआरआईज के साथ जो भी इश्यूज होते हैं उन पे वो बोलते हैं। पर आप में से कितने लोग इस बात को जानते हैं कि पंडित जी ने शिखा भी रख रखी है? जी, मैं कितने पंडितों से मिले हूं, कितने विद्वानों से मिलू हूं, पर शिखा नहीं दिखती है। पंडित जी अपने इस टॉक में आप शिखा का महत्व बताइएगा। I was so impressed when I first met you and I saw that शिखा. I said ये सही मामलों में ब्राह्मण है, पंडित है, वेदांती है, और जो वेदों का रहस्य है, जो वेदों का मूल्य है, उसका संरक्षण करने वालों में से एक है। So with that, Pandit ji, forum is all yours. Jai Siya Ram.
Jai Jai Siya Ram. I'm so grateful and I feel so fortunate, really so honored, entirely undeserved, but great amount of affection and so much of warmth I feel whenever I meet Rajalakshmi ji on screen or off screen. It's a great honor to know her and to receive her affection, to receive her encouragement. I feel blessed that I have somehow been picked for this great privilege. These are tough times for our motherland and for our community. And if one is able to do even an iota, I think it is life well lived for me. I feel really honored and privileged to be able to have your company, have your audience, and contribute in our joint effort together towards a common cause. We mustn't lose sight of the big picture, I keep reminding myself, even when we get mired into smaller issues, day-to-day issues, contemporary issues. They are nothing but a piece of a larger, I may call jigsaw puzzle. It is not relevant till such time it connects with that larger big picture. So never to lose sight of the big picture, which is of a civilizational scale, larger, grander scale. Kashmir is one of the pieces of that puzzle in that big picture. Kumbh is another large, important piece in that big picture. Political power and struggle, legislative processes, policy, all those are pieces of that puzzle. And our effort is somewhere to make a difference to the way that picture looks now and how we could move it to the way we would like it to be. I think destiny has given us this opportunity and also this responsibility to do to the best of our abilities what we can and make that effort, strive for that little difference if we could make. And even if we can't, I think it is the effort that counts more than anything else. I must mention here two specific incidents before I come to the issue. First, let me deal with the Shikha bit that Maharaja Lakshmi ji has mentioned. The more I know about my ancestors and our history in Kashmir, the more I'm made aware of the fact, the price that my ancestors have paid for wearing a janeyu and adorning a tilak and keeping a shikha. They were butchered for these. They were made to give up this and convert. These were the symbols, the manifest symbols of their inner identity. So the price our ancestors have paid to keep wearing the janeyu, to keep that tilak, mark of divinity on their forehead, or to grow a shikha, has been steep. They paid for it with their lives. So when I wear this shikha, it is to proclaim that even after centuries of Holocaust, it remains, it survives, and it continues to resist. If I wear my janeyu, it is to reassert that the fight goes on. And till such time, even one of our children wears a janeyu and with pride puts a tilak and grows a shikha, this symbolism in this identity struggle, this resistance, this rejection of our collective Holocaust will continue. We'll resist, and we'll resist it till such time we prevail. It is to remind me that we are committed to a cause, and that cause must go on. And when I met a gentleman in London, this is the second anecdote. He was a Sindhi gentleman, a Hindu Sindhi, a Sanatani Sindhi in London, teaching in a college, a lecturer. And he was an office bearer of the World Sindhi Congress. His name is Lakhu Lohana. Lakhu Lohana fights for the cause of Sindh in Pakistan. In 40s, when India was being vivisected, a part of Sindh was never claimed for the Sindhis, Hindu Sindhis, Sanatani Sindhis. So when they came, when they were driven out of Sindh, brutally cleansed, they didn't even have a piece of land like Punjab did, like Bengal did, like Assam did. They didn't have a piece of their own land to call their own and to live there. So their language and their land, they were completely disconnected from. Entire Sindh went to Pakistan. And when Sindhi itself was sought to be destroyed and Urdu was being imposed, Jai Sindh movement was born. This movement had the support of even Muslim Sindhis, because deep down, they too were aware of their indigenous cultural identity, which was being slaughtered at the altar of Islam. And like Bengalis asserted their Bangla identity in 1952, on 21st of February 1952 to be precise.
Panditji, just a small, sorry for interrupting. We are getting some background audio noise. So I'm just going to call you. You can mute your system. I'm going to just call you directly. You can still be on video on Zoom, but I'll just give you a call on the phone.
You're not hearing me clearly.
Now it's actually clear. In between, we are getting some noise.
Okay. I think it was temporary. It will get better
Okay.
because two different medium might create a mismatch.
Okay. All right. Please continue, sir.
I'll try and speak closer to the speakers. Let's see. So I asked him, I said, Pakistan is under the military boots. The state has been taken over by jihadis. It has become the outpost of pan-Islamic expansion towards the east. What hope do you have in this struggle? Do you really think you can turn this tide? I'll never forget what he said. He said, Sindh is my mother. As a Sindhi, I'm doing for my mother what I can. It is my privilege. Irrespective of what may or may not happen, whatever is the outcome, my dharma is to strive for her, and I'll always give it my best shot. Rest is up to the God. It was so inspiring. And it is spirit like this that will keep us going, even when the odds seem insurmountable. I now come to the issue at hand, Article 370 and the aftermath. See, first of all of us must know, when we talk about Article 370, what is it that we are talking about? We are not talking about some ordinary provision in the Constitution. In fact, if you ask a common Indian, and when I say common Indian, I mean an urban, educated, aware Indian, well-to-do Indian. I'm not talking about rural, semi-literate, unaware Indian. Media-savvy Indian, corporate Indian, well-heeled Indian, well-endowed Indian. The only meaning they could attribute to Article 370 was that we cannot buy land in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It prevents us, common Indians, from buying land in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. That is what, in a sense, was their interpretation of Article 370. Well, yes, but it was only one of the smaller, insignificant facts. India wasn't exactly queuing up to buy land in Kashmir, as is evident even after Article 370 is removed or neutered. Article 370 has had far more profound impact, seminal impact on what happened to Kashmir in the Union of India. Why? Because Article 370 did the unthinkable. Our highest sovereign body, our parliament, which has every square inch of India under its jurisdiction to legislate about, to make laws for, could not make laws for the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Except for a few subjects, 2-3 subjects, its jurisdiction was completely circumscribed. So the laws it made always prefaced with a sentence that it applied to Union of India except in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. This exception was always mentioned even before you started to read the details of the law. So our parliament was deprived of its jurisdiction. Constitution of India did not apply in the state of Jammu and Kashmir because of Article 370. So Jammu and Kashmir was the only state which was allowed its own constitution. Can you imagine a country with a state which doesn't follow its constitution? And therefore, as a result, Supreme Court of India was deprived jurisdiction in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Election Commission of India had no jurisdiction in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Comptroller and Auditor General of India had no jurisdiction in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. There were more than 100 laws in our constitution that didn't apply to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Prevention of Corruption Act is one such law, was as of August 5. Misuse of Places of Worship Act was another such law, which mandated that you couldn't use places of worship like temples, mosques, gurudwaras, churches for stockpiling arms and ammunition or misusing them for political mobilization. This law applied to the entire country except to the place called Jammu and Kashmir, state of Jammu and Kashmir. Of all the laws, the National Emblems Act did not apply to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which means you could walk all over the tricolor, burn it if you pleased, and you won't attract any punishment. You could disrespect national anthem and get away with it. It didn't apply to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Under Article 370, Jammu Kashmir was virtually a Pakistan or Indian territory. Because every politician, including the latest was Mehbooba Mufti, who was the last chief minister of the state, when she argued in favor of Article 370, she openly said this was relevant because Jammu and Kashmir was a Muslim majority state. They had no shame in claiming that Article 370 is necessary. These exceptions, these distortions, these concessions are legitimate because we are a Muslim majority state. So, the framers of our constitution, our political class, our governments actually were bending over backwards on the issue of religion. They would keep their constitution in abeyance, their parliament in abeyance, their democracy and secularism in abeyance to pander to the whims and fancies of a state and its political class only and only because it was Muslim majority state in a Hindu majority India. This is what Article 370 did. In a sense, it legitimized creating exceptions in the name of religion, making concessions to a religious identity and legitimizing identity politics based on religion. When you do that, you literally let a genie out of the bottle. That is what they did in Kashmir. Because once you legitimize such separation, because they are a Muslim majority state, you pay a ransom to those who insist on seeking these concessions because they are Muslims. Then where this will stop is not within your hands. Because once the genie is out of the bottle, then genie does what it is. So what did genie do? The genie started grievance mongering based on their religious identity. They sought more autonomy. They sought more concessions, more privileges. And when this grievance mongering became separatism, was a matter of years. When this separatism became secessionism, was a matter of a few more years. And when secessionism became pro-Pakistan politics, because we are a Muslim majority state and India was divided on the basis of religion, then why not go to the state, a nation created on the basis of that religion, Islam? So a big, large chunk of political class in Kashmir became pro-Pakistan. And if today the world is experiencing winds of caliphate, an ISIS kind of storm, then what you see is a full-blown jihad in front of you. This is how grievance mongering has moved to separatism, to secessionism, to Pakistan, to ISIS. Because one thing justifies the other, one feeds on the other. And hence, today what we see in Kashmir is an open and blatant rebellion in the name of religion. The slogans in Kashmir that you raised very clearly alluded to it, though they had a fig leaf in the word Azadi, Hum kya chahte Azadi. But when you ask them, our constitution gives all kinds of freedoms. Show us one freedom that is absent from there, and we shall put it in our constitution and share it, because we've amended our constitution more than 100 times. Why can't we have freedoms that we can share together? No, but Kashmiris mean different. Azadi ka matlab kya? The answer to that is La ilaha illallah. Pakistan se rishta kya? La ilaha illallah. Hum kya chahte? Nizam-e Mustafa. So this is what we are battling. And when you are battling this on the basis of a separate, privileged existence of a community in Kashmir, then you can't balance it it just doesn't add up. It becomes asymmetric. So what we are facing in Kashmir today is disrupting India, breaking up India through a jihad. If people have still some suspicion or some doubt, let them recall the names of organizations that are spearheading this jihad. Jaish-e-Mohammed, it invokes the identity of the Prophet. Lashkar-e-Taiba, it again invokes Islamic identity. Hizbul Mujahideen. So all these revolutionaries, under what cover do they fight? Hizbul Mujahideen, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed. Who coordinates them? United Jihad Council. With these nomenclatures floating around, can there be any doubt left as to what is the motivation? Where is the rationalization of this movement? And this is what you get as a sum total of what 370 has yielded you in 70 years. Therefore, undoing of Article 370, taking back those privileges and concessions becomes necessary. Because it is these concessions, it is these privileges which have dragged Kashmir and India to such a state. And hence, it is a matter of great satisfaction that our government and our leadership last year on August 5 demonstrated the courage of conviction to remove this cancerous growth, this tumor from our body politic. So when this was removed, a lot of my friends were asking me, when are you packing your bags to go back home? Then I would smile and say, listen, what has happened on August 5 and 6 is that Parliament has been announced of certain decisions. And Honorable President has signed some papers for reorganization of the state. That's all that has happened. Because on ground in Kashmir, it is the same bureaucracy, it is the same academia, it is the same media, it is the same police, it is the same criminal justice system. It is the same society and its platforms that are continuously exercising a stranglehold. Till such time such jihadi apparatus is dismantled, those who drove us out, those who have profited from our exit, those who've caused that mayhem before we were driven out, they're all accounted for. We were very clear, don't treat the Hindu exodus from Kashmir as some kind of flood victims or earthquake victims who need to be given some land and some money to start their life again. We escaped butchery. Some of us were not so lucky. But we escaped butchery. It was a genocide. You must acknowledge it. These were not some stray murders or rapes. This was a systemic pogrom. The attempt to eliminate us, to erase us, was blatant. So we, the survivors of 90, are actually victims of a genocide. If you paper over it, if you whitewash it, you are denying that genocide. And denial of genocide is worse than genocide itself, because it repeats that genocide on the victims and survivors. So our first demand is, please acknowledge what happened to us in Kashmir. Don't blame it on Jagmohan, don't blame it on some bureaucrat, don't blame it on some unknown outsiders. That will be a separate issue, but this happened, genocide happened, Hindu Holocaust happened, acknowledge it. Don't shove it under the carpet. 2, deliver justice. Those who committed this crime, this heinous crime, are still roaming free. They've become icons, social and political icons. Indeed, Government of India fed them, looked after them, paid for their bills, gave them security, gave them passports, pleaded to the world for visas, allowed them to roam the world, took them to Pakistan. Some of them got married in Pakistan. Those who belonged to the gallows were treated like heads of state. We want justice for the victims and survivors of this genocide. That's point number 2. Point number 3, there are several of those who keep saying, but we didn't pull the trigger, but we didn't drive you out, but we never participated in the violence. They're right. Not everyone was carrying a gun. Not everyone went shooting about. Some did collaborate. They pointed at us. They identified our houses. But a lot many of them benefited from our exodus, profited from our expulsion, took over our homes, our shops, our businesses, our lands, our temples. This is something that needs to be undone. So long as there are people who benefited from our genocide, profited from our Holocaust, and continue to profit and enjoy those ill-gotten gains, must be deprived. Otherwise, there will always remain an incentive to commit another genocide if we go back. So we have been pleading with the government that don't throw us back to the wolves in a hurry to declare victory and to say that everyone has gone back and we are done with our responsibility. No, sir. Acknowledge that what happened there in the 1990 and later was a genocide. Try those who committed this heinous crime, punish them, because that is what will give us justice. And those who cornered our properties, took over our homes, businesses, shops, lands, orchards, farms, desecrated our temples, encroached upon our temple land, buildings. Please take away those ill-gotten gains from them and give them back to us. Nothing on ground has happened on all the 3 counts. Nothing. When I say not even one step has been taken in this direction towards these 3 specific demands. I'm not exaggerating. Incidentally, United Nations made a declaration in 1948. That declaration was called Prevention and Punishment of Genocide. The member countries supported it. India is one of the signatories to this declaration. India signed on this declaration in 1959. So as an obligation on the signatory countries, we were supposed to create a set of laws in our own statute books where we would prevent and punish the crime of genocide. This involved criminal procedure code for genocide. This involved the code of evidence, the penal code, punishment. It involves setting up of tribunals and courts. It involved the entire paraphernalia. A separate system within our criminal justice system to provide for the crime of genocide. It's been more than 60 years since India became a signatory to this covenant. There isn't a law in our statute. So we drafted a bill. Our political movement, Jammu and Kashmir, has drafted Jammu and Kashmir Prevention and Punishment of Genocide 2020. This bill, I'm very happy to share with you, has been endorsed by Maharaj Lakshmi ji. She has also circulated it among her friends and contacts and campaigned for it. We've received very encouraging response. We've collected thousands of signatures. Member parliaments and barons and baronesses and lords in the Parliament of the United Kingdom have endorsed this. We've shared this bill with parliamentarians, with the Prime Minister, with the Council of Ministers, everyone. There is a campaign going on, and we plan to hold a genocide conference early next year in order to push our demands of acknowledging what happened in Kashmir, delivering justice, and reversing our genocide. Reversal of this genocide in the fourth step, the first three steps I shared, which is acknowledging, 1, punishing, 2, and taking back the ill-gotten gains of genocide as 3, and then reversal, re-establish us in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir in a separate enclave together, the entire community together. We are not going to be spread thin again and kept there as hostages. We will live together so that we can defend ourselves together, raise our children in a safe, secure community environment, reconnect with our roots without a fear or risk in our mind, and establish ourselves in a manner that our future generations never have to face this existential crisis living in Kashmir that we have faced over and over again in the last 600 years. None of it is evident, none of it is visible in the last 9 months, but we were willing to wait. We patiently waited for 30 years for 370 to be removed. We have patience. We know this government can do it. We know if any government could do it, only it was this one. If we know if any leadership had the capacity, the courage of conviction, it was this government. So we were willing to wait, and we were waiting. It's been more than 9 months. But some of the things that happened raised doubts and fears about squandering the gains of August 5, 2019. And I'll share with you what happened. On 31st of March last, just about 2.5 months back, when the entire country was in a lockdown, government offices, private institutions, bazaars, marketplaces, temples, mosques, railways, flights, everything was shut. A gazetted notification emerges which defines the citizens of Jammu and Kashmir under a domicile category, and says those who have been staying there for the last 15 years continuously will be called the domiciled citizens of Jammu and Kashmir. And then it said that all the jobs in the state government will be an exclusive preserve of such citizens of the state. We were astounded. We had never demanded this. We have several organizations, several activists, several leaders. Never ever did anyone ask for it. But this was suddenly out of the blue, hit us like a bolt. And it not just defined the domiciled citizens, it gave them the privilege, humongous privilege, that all jobs in the state government are reserved for this. Now, frankly, is domicile something so unusual? No. Domicile is a legitimate mechanism which is very often invoked to protect the natives of a state, especially if it is a vast area, a thinly spread population, which may have a risk of a demographic invasion. So you protect such population. So various states have such provisions. Incidentally, the neighboring Punjab, state of Punjab, doesn't demand even 1 year of stay in the state to qualify as its domiciled citizen. All you have to go to a functionary in the government, could be a panchayat, sarpanch, or a tehsildar, or some other government functionary, to attest to the fact that you live there. And if he satisfies himself that you have premises rented or your own, then he is willing to certify you as a domiciled citizen. That's it. In Delhi, it is only 3 years. Like Punjab, in Telangana, which is a relatively new state, it is 0 years of domicile. Chhattisgarh, which is a tribal state, a poor state, 0 years of domicile. Meghalaya, 0 years of domicile. Again, a tribal state in the northeast. Delhi, 3 years of domicile. UP and Bihar, big states, large populations, only 3 years of domicile. Very poor states. Only 3 years of living there. Talk of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, only 5 years of domicile. Andhra Pradesh, only 6 years of domicile. In a state like, say, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, only 10 years of domicile. For Kashmir, you mandate that there should be at least 15 years of domicile. Why it worries you is that because the state was till recently under a fortress-like law, Article 370, which denied entry to rest of India in that state, didn't allow any Indian to settle there with their own land or house or a shop or a farm or a orchard or any immovable property. Disqualified them even from education institutions of the state, deprived them of the scholarships. Couldn't even vote in panchayats. In such a state where India was kept out for 70 years, you suddenly raise a wall of 15 years. Within months of dismantling Article 370. And then what it also did was for Hindu Kashmiris on 31st of March, it said those migrants, it called us migrants, imagine, as if we had left valley on our own. It said those who registered in Jammu with Relief and Rehabilitation Commissioner will also qualify. What about those who did not register in Jammu and registered elsewhere? What about those who did not register at all because they were not willing to take any grants, any help from the government? Those, it kept quiet. What about several other people who were not the state subjects earlier, such as refugees from West Pakistan, Hindu Sikh refugees from Pakistan occupied Kashmir? What about the Balmikis from Punjab? Kept quiet. A, we did not ask for domicile. B, you raise a 15-year of domicile living in Kashmir as a pre-qualification. C, you divide the Hindus driven out of Kashmir into those who registered in Jammu and the rest who were not accounted for, nothing. So it became a big issue as to what are we going to do. It took 45 days for this government and several pleadings and several petitions to eventually ask the Jammu Kashmir government. The earlier notifications, Gazette notifications that I'm referring to, 31st of March and 4th of April, were from the Home Ministry of India, Delhi. Then these correctives came 45 days later, where it said, okay, the other Hindus also, no matter where they registered, even if they did not register, their parents if they lived, or their grandparents if they lived, it came out with the clarifications which comforted us. So domicile also includes people with 10 years of central government service in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It also says that those who pass their 10th standard and 12th standard exams from the schools of Jammu and Kashmir. It also said of various other classifications which would become qualified for applying for a domicile certificate. And it said, apply for this certificate within a year or else. In no state do you have a deadline for applying for a domicile certificate. If you don't need one, you don't take one. When you need one, you just walk into an office and you seek one. That's how it works. In Kashmir, it tells you, please take this certificate within 1 year of this notification or else. I am wondering what's wrong. First of all, you keep large chunks of Hindus expelled from Kashmir Valley in the gray. We don't know. 45 days of pleading, representing, begging, you include us. But it isn't about us, Kashmiri Hindus. I'm sorry. I think first claim on Kashmir is of those countless families who have given their near and dear ones from every district of 950 districts of India to defend India and Kashmir. Our soldiers who died in Kashmir, who shed their blood, who lost their limb in Kashmir, shouldn't they, their families, be given this privilege first and foremost? Why have they been kept out? 2, only 10 years of central government service. Central government service is a transferable job. People get transferred every 3-4 years. Where will you find central government employees who have continuously served in the state for 10 years? So you exclude large chunk of such employees who risk their lives serving in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, risking their lives, taken the trouble, but are now being deprived. There are several such angularities because it creates a wall to prevent the rest of India from coming to the state. Something that we desperately needed in order to normalize the state and bring it into our mainstream, which is what Article 370 was preventing. By doing this, you raised those walls, you are bringing the provisions of Article 370 through the back door. Another issue. Once you define a domiciled citizen and you apply it to such a significant factor as all state government jobs, mind you, without exception, then it is a matter of time before the bureaucrats or the neta or them together will apply to scholarships also, will apply to the admissions in the state institutions also, will apply to as pre-qualification for tenders and contracts also, will apply to the buying of land, homes, shops, farms, orchards. Then what is left? You can apply to the voting also. You see, the point is, once there is legitimization of a domiciled citizen as the definition, and such a privilege as all state government jobs reserved for them, then other privileges look minor. And my experience shows it is a matter of time before it is extended to those privileges. And then what you will see is back to square one. And when you do this quietly, when the entire country is in lockdown, when all we consume through our television, news or newspapers is the number of COVID patients and those who died of it, then it begins to sound sinister. This is what is the worry. Our system, our government, our leadership looks like taking 2 steps back instead of progressing from that revolutionary step you took on August 5, 2019. And this is not the first time they took those 2 steps back. Before the domicile was announced on 31st of March, barely 15 days before that, Farooq Abdullah was released from house arrest. His preventive detention was extended by 6 months on 10th of March. But on 13th of March, he was released. And when he was released, he didn't sound any chastened. He did not give any guarantees of good behavior. He started dictating terms the very first minute. His face looked like that of a triumphant man, not man who was chastened and humbled. Within a week of his release, even his son was released. What is the deal? Those who you should have been prosecuting, those who needed a white paper on their misdeeds. Remember, it was Farooq Abdullah under whose chief ministership we faced the genocide. It is because of Farooq Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti's preventive detention that Kashmir was peaceful after August 5 decisions. Are you counting on them to restart the democratic process in Kashmir? Are you again handing over the milk for cats to guard? Because that's what you did in February. On 10th of February, an elaborate schedule for panchayat elections was announced in the state. 13th, 15th, and 17th of February, you gave dates for nominations, for voting, for counting, and all those things. Between 10th and 17th of February, you were doing this. But on 13th of February, a gentleman called Altaf Bukhari, who was the finance minister under Mehbooba Mufti's government, and his band of 24 delegates meet the prime minister. 3 days later, meet the home minister. Between the prime minister and home minister, they spent 3-4 hours with them. And on 18th of February, these elections are called off. How do you look? You tell the world everything is calm, everything is under control, there is no violence. With great fanfare, you announce elections to panchayat, to sarpanches, to zilla heads, and then you withdraw. During the same period, you had sent the former chief of RAW, Amarjit Singh Dullat, for a secret parley with Farooq Abdullah on 12th of February. So what is happening? Again, on 12th of February, you saw the third batch of diplomats being taken to Kashmir on a conducted tour. The first batch had gone in the month of October, 28th of October to be precise. The second batch had gone in January. After we screamed from the rooftops that Jammu and Kashmir is our internal affair, and nobody in the world dare poke their nose into it, we are taking members of European Parliament, ambassadors in India, by batches to show them around in Kashmir, boat ride on Dal Lake, meetings with curated delegations. We look like bending over backwards after declaring that Kashmir is our internal affair. Who will take our claims seriously on that issue? And how strong do we look? Once we cross the red lines, we ourselves draw. How credible are these red lines for future? I had thought that I'll keep my gob shut and not criticize these decisions. Perhaps they need time, perhaps they need room to maneuver, perhaps they need elbow room, and we must keep peace and wait patiently. But once 31st of March declaration on domicile hit us, I thought, no, things are again going wrong. We are undoing what a great historic step was on August 5 and 6 in 2019. And we must ask questions of our leaders as to what is happening. Why are we betraying signs of weakness? Why are we creating barriers around Kashmir all over again? Why are we going back to regressive policies and discredited politicians? People we should be charge sheeting are being legitimized through meetings, through pictures, public propaganda of those meetings. You know, you cannot get in with your camera into Prime Minister's room or with the Home Minister. There are photographers of the government who click those pictures and they decide if those pictures need to be shared or not. So if there are elaborate pictures with details that the delegation of Altaf Bukhari with 24 people met the Home Minister for 2.5 hours. It is the same Altaf Bukhari whose car was found with RDX and illicit arms only in 2018. He was the finance minister, he's considered Mr. Moneybags, with links across the political spectrum, including Hurriyat. What are we doing? Why are we doing this? Are the questions, are the fears, are the concerns? Because this time, we have to get it right. This government, this leadership is the only one that we can hope to achieve anything substantial for Kashmir. If it doesn't happen, or if we squander this opportunity, then I shudder to think what might happen. Because time and again we have given concessions to jihad in the hope of winning hearts and minds. Article 370 itself was one big major concession in winning hearts and minds. In fact, Kashmir is a case study, international case study, where you made an exception of your democracy, exception of your constitution, exception of your secularism, exception of your parliament. Nowhere in the world such concessions, such exceptions were made. But jihad was never, ever contended. It asks for more. It has a voracious appetite. It has become a global case study, and it proves one point, that appeasing jihad, placating jihad, bribing jihad, paying a ransom to jihad will never work. This ogre keeps coming back asking for more till he gobbles you up. Then why are we back to placating it? Why are we doing this? I wish somebody could answer, but I don't see the answers forthcoming. I'll stop here. Thank you for such a patient hearing. If there are any questions and they are not too difficult, I'll try and answer them. Sorry if I've disappointed you with these facts, but however bitter it is, we must learn to confront the truth as it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Panditji, for your talk. It was very interesting. As you yourself pointed out to us, the moves of the government of late, such as the domicile rule and releasing Farooq Abdullah and having political discussions with discredited politicians, is somewhat disappointing, and it disheartens us. We do have questions. As one of the co-hosts here, I'll ask my question first here. We Sanatanis have trusted this government immensely, especially the team of Modi ji, Amit Shah ji, and Ajit Doval ji. We are completely trusting them to do the best thing for India. My question here is, noting that this is 2 steps backward after 1 step forward on Article 370, what in your assessment could be the reason for this? Is India under some kind of unknown international pressure to which they're buckling? Is it because our economy has not done so well with the again with the COVID pandemic? We are a little jittery. What in your assessment could be the reason for this? It is very hard to imagine a man like Modi ji taking 2 steps backward. Can you tell us your assessment? What could be the reason for this?
Okay, because those who've taken these steps back haven't themselves mentioned as to why they're doing this. One can only speculate and surmise as to what might be the reason. And I see a pattern here. The pattern is about sensitivity in the international arena, the opinion. When European Parliament decided to issue, Government of India very resolutely said that Kashmir is our internal issue. What happens there and what we do there is our business. You mind your own business. I remember on 12th of September, our foreign minister S. Jaishankar flew to Brussels to deliver exactly this. Pakistan obviously was raising a hue and cry. China moved Security Council 3 times on this issue. So you know how important Article 370 was for both Pakistan and China, and whose purpose, whose interest it was serving. It should have made it even clearer and made you even more convinced about these decisions. But what you see on 12th of September, see 5th, 6th of August, you took these decisions. On 12th of September, our foreign minister is in Brussels, engaging with European Parliament, explaining to them. On 28th of October, 27 members of European Parliament land up in India to go to Kashmir. European Parliament shrugged off this visit as their private visit. They said, we don't have anything to do with it. They snubbed us. Those 27, 28 members did not make news as much as 1 or 2 who refused to go, for obvious reasons. But we were seen a little weak, a little unsure and tentative when we resorted to this, and Government of India was wishy-washing. First it says they have come themselves, we have not sponsored this visit. Then everyone knew that in Kashmir you cannot go without permission of the government, especially if you're a foreigner. You won't get visas. You know, Debbie Abraham, when she decided to come to India, she was packed off from Delhi airport itself. Her visa was cancelled. So if Government of India wishes, only then you can come to India and then go to Kashmir as well, and that too as a group. And Government of India had to admit in again a roundabout manner that yes, we had blessed this exercise. It later transpired that Government of India actually organized it, keeping some individuals in the front as ruse. I mean, it was very ham-handed, extremely clumsy. Then not just one, the second delegation also went. But meanwhile, what happened was Citizenship Amendment Act. On 12th of December, our parliament passed this act, which was to give citizenship to those refugees who were already staying in India since 31st of December 2014. and belonged to Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, and were Hindus, Christians, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, and Jews. Sorry, Parsis. When this was passed on 14th of December, Sonia Gandhi in Delhi rally called for an all-out war. She called it Aar Paar Ki Ladai. She exhorted people to come out and hit the streets because India was in danger. That is when Shaheen Bagh protest started. A bunch of old women and children blocked a major arterial road that connected Noida with Delhi, that bridge. It inconvenienced lakhs of commuters. Traffic became a crawl. Something that should have been dismantled because it was without a permission and illegal occupation of the street. 3 fire tenders sprinkling water would have dislodged them. We allowed it to continue for 3 months. We looked completely clueless about how to deal with it. So much so that it became a template, it became a business model. And Shaheen Bagh started replicating itself all over India, in every nook and corner, in all cities, including Chennai. And meanwhile, when President Trump visited Delhi, they pulled off a riot in the state, in the capital of India, right under the nose of this leadership. It showed a pattern of weakness, indecisiveness, almost paralysis of thinking and action. And you were trying to buy peace, cajole, beseech. You would be surprised. In that last week of March, we had this infamous incident at Nizamuddin Markaz, where our NSA goes at 2 a.m. in the morning, pleading and beseeching with the Maulana of Tablighi Jamaat to come out and subject his followers to a medical checkup because COVID is spreading. A job that a head constable with 3 constables should have accomplished. National Security Advisor in the wee hours of the morning was doing pleading, begging. Not good optics, sir. So what you saw over successive months and weeks leading up to the domicile declaration, notification, is trying to somehow buy peace, make concessions, win hearts and minds. The same malaise that we had been victim to over the last 70 years. It is this pattern which makes August 5 and 6 decisions look like a flash in the pan and not a change of epoch that I thought it was. A complete change of thinking that I thought it will bring in. A completely new India that I thought was in the offing. I hope in a long-winded answer, I am able to give you some insight into what led to these decisions.
Well, I understand your answers. I'm a little disheartened by it. I'll ask, she wants to ask his question now.
Thanks, Sushilji. Thanks for enlightening all of us and sharing your insights. So Kashmir has always been in focus, but it never got an focused attention to nip the root, to nip the bud from the root. So what a common Hindu should do to make a positive impact, to channelize the efforts? So that's one of the questions that people are posting right now. So what should we do as a common Hindu to help our, Hindutva and our society?
Yes, thank you, Shivas, for asking this question. And I love that right from the airport with you I had. When you received me, thank you so much for showing up here. I think it's a wonderful question that you asked, and I must express my disappointment here for within my community. When 31st of March happened and large chunks of our community were left out from the framework of domicile, there was no outrage. There was no protest. There were no statements. There were not even some basic, simple questions asked as to why has this been done. But what happened instead was some back channel maneuvering, some questions, some pleadings, some memoranda, some petitions. And it took 45 days. And what emerged at the end was, okay, we have managed to restore the entire Kashmiri Hindu community. Now we needn't care. We needn't worry. Our interests are covered. Kashmir is not about Kashmiri Hindus alone, Shiva. We had all these privileges under 370. In fact, a lot more. Yet we were asking for dismantling of 370. Why? Because till such time India is outside Jammu and Kashmir, any privilege, any advantage, any concession to us as a community matters nothing, zilch. So rest of India should be in Jammu and Kashmir to normalize, because we suffered because India was kept out of Kashmir. If we are let in, but India still remains out of Kashmir, and that's what the Domicile Act does. It raises a huge wall. And, one more thing, you might understand it better when I said vulnerable populations need such protection. Large territories with sparse populations need such protection. There were 2 union territories created on August 6. One was Union Territory of Ladakh, another was Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. If any place needs this protection, it is the Union Territory of Ladakh. Ladakh has the border with Pakistan as well as China. The only place where we face both our enemies together. Ladakh's area is more than the area of Jammu and Kashmir. It is 60% of the erstwhile state. Ladakh's population is a fraction, not even 10% of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, not even 5%. So Ladakh needed this protection more, domicile protection more. Is there a domicile act for Ladakh? No, zero. So we know who is driving this. I must tell you, when the earlier question was asked as to why this is being done, I saw these patterns of weakness on the day of August 5 and 6 itself. When our Home Minister in Parliament said, Union territory status is not necessarily written in stone, we can always restore statehood. The point is, you don't make and unmake states like you have breakfast and lunch. These are far more serious decisions. And when you let people know that you are tentative about it, you are actually inviting pressure. When you say that you can reconsider this decision of restoring the state, they will come like a ton of bricks on you. And that is what they are doing. Bit by bit, trying to undo what you did on August 5 and 6. And I'm afraid restoring statehood is again on the agenda. Because when you come down this placation route, when you come down on winning heart and mind route, it's a greasy slope. It's a slippery slope. You can't hold back one concession and give only the other. So our problem is that we need to stay united. We needn't go into clusters of these Hindus or those Hindus. And that's where I say that our Jawans who shed blood, even if they are Nagas, and there are Nagas who have shed blood in Kashmir, there are Tamils who have shed blood in Kashmir, there are Marathis, there are Oriyas, there are Biharis, there are Punjabis, there are Rajasthani Rajputs who shed blood, there are people from UP who shed blood, people from every state, every region, every district have lost their near and dear ones in Kashmir, trying to defend India in Kashmir, trying to keep India together in Kashmir. I think first and foremost claim before your and my claim is theirs. Even if they don't take that claim, even if they don't go and register themselves their domicile, offering it to them would have been a token of gratitude of this country. CRPF men, 40 Pulwama men who died last year, they're from families that the first line on Kashmir. They were belong to smithereens. We've forgotten about them. Kashmir doesn't belong to just Kashmiri Hindus. Kashmir belongs to the entire country. Because this entire country was kept out of Kashmir through Article 370, I view domicile was as a huge barrier to entire India coming up in Kashmir. And we need to mobilize opinion across India for this. It is not our problem. It is not our privilege. And we shouldn't be happy with saying that, oh, we now count all Kashmiri Hindus have been covered under this. That will again be an extremely myopic and very, very selfish way of looking at it. So I think we need to go about creating awareness and make people ask the right questions. In a mature functional democracy, our only tool, our only instrument is effective public opinion. I think it was this public opinion on Article 370 that forced the hand of our government. And effective public opinion on post-370 decisions will again persuade our government to do the right thing. Thank you.
I have another question. We see this question come up frequently in social discussions amongst fellow Indians. It is a little bit away from the topic that you discussed today, but closely related. So I'll go ahead and ask this. What are the pros and cons of taking back Pakistan-occupied Kashmir? Do you think it happening in future?
Wonderful question. I'm so happy you asked this, Ajitji. And I'll like to take a couple of minutes answering this. Not that I'm fond of long-winded answers, but I'd like to give you a context. Pakistan occupied Kashmir was given by Jawaharlal Nehru literally on a platter to Pakistan on January 1, 1949, when our army was effectively vacating the aggression on Kashmir. We called for a unilateral ceasefire. Army was against it. They wanted few more weeks and months to clear the entire invasion. But for some inexplicable reason, Nehru decided otherwise and literally gift-wrapped Kashmir to Pakistan, 40% of it almost. But we kept our technical claim alive. All right. I've heard somewhere that when Nehru was asked, why did you do this? He said, I have thrown a bone to the dog. thinking that Pakistan will stay happy with a part of Kashmir, and that's the way to buy peace in future. You know, concessions. That never happened. While we kept our claim technically going, I don't think we invested even a dime to actually seriously take it back. Whereas Pakistan is going to pieces trying to take our part of Kashmir. You would agree there. Their economy cannot sustain this kind of jihad. Their size cannot assure them that they can win a war against India on this. Politically, they are on a very slippery slope because what they have become in the international arena, but they are still at it. They keep sending terrorists into our territory. They keep sending money, resources, material. We have not done any such thing to claim our part of Kashmir under illegal occupation of Pakistan. On the contrary, in several bilateral negotiations, we have often offered to convert the LOC into international border, which means if Pakistan is willing, we would cede our claim on POK. Talk to any diplomat and he would listen to you and say, yes, that is the status. But Pakistan refuses to buy this. You know why? Because they say you are giving to us what is already with us. What is the point? We want the whole of it. So we are willing to give up what we have been technically claiming for decades. And we have not invested a dime in it, except for a resolution in our parliament in 1993. We've done nothing. And we bring this issue up only when we are in a tight corner and we are forced into a dialogue, and we say the dialogue will only be about the Pak-occupied Kashmir. So it is more of a debating point with us in TV studios or in international arena for a narrative that if there is any dispute between India and Pakistan, it is about the illegal occupation of the part of Kashmir with you. Now, from that position, you are saying, are we seriously in a position to take back that area? I must tell you, for even our rhetoric to be credible, even our technical claim on that area to be credible, we must build the capability and show the intent. Right? Build the capability and show the intent. Both have been questionable so far. I'll give you the reason. When India neutered Article 370 on August 5, you know what Pakistan did? In less than 48 hours, it expelled our High Commissioner in Pakistan, Ajay Bisaria. He was humiliated. First, he was told to leave. Declared persona non grata, said you leave quietly. Then, as if to humiliate him, he was expelled. He is now Indian High Commissioner in Canada. And we have not done this even when our parliament was attacked in 2001. Even when they intruded in Kargil in 1999. When they attacked Mumbai in 2008. When they attacked our base in Pathankot. We've never ever expelled their High Commissioner. They, at the drop of the hat, the first time we actually hurt them. By doing what? Changing our own constitution on which we have our jurisdiction. Our parliament has a jurisdiction on Indian constitution. What we do there is our matter. They expelled our High Commissioner. Then they moved China to move Security Council 3 times in less than 5 months. What have we done till date to claim our portion of POK except rhetoric, which is neither backed by intent nor backed by capability, demonstrable capability? So yes, our claim shall remain and must remain. If today, this generation, your generation and my generation fail to make good that claim, our future generations must. Some future leader must, if present leadership cannot. The claim must remain. And we must, so God give us the strength, take every inch of that land. It includes my Sharda Peeth. It includes one of the most sacred shrines of Kashmir. Every square inch of Kashmir is sacred geography. We must get it.
I couldn't agree more with you, Sushilji. My thoughts and strong emotions are to get back POK. Shivasji or Rajalakshmiji, do you have any question at this point in time?
I have one more questions from the audience. So again, Kashmiri Hindus are being labeled as migrants, and we never left our homeland by our own choice. So the question is, what's the opinion about the need and possibly for a campaign to reject the name, the migrant, labeled by the government of India for Kashmiri Hindus?
Again, wonderful, Shivas. We are called migrants because we are victims of our hypocrisy that is practiced within the country. Migrants are those who leave of their own volition, looking for greener pastures, opportunities, or just for change of climate scene, for tourism, whatever. We were driven out, we were thrown out. If they do not acknowledge our genocide, if they don't offer justice, if they don't reverse our genocide, and they don't call it genocide, it is because, you know what they say, calling you by any other name would demonize Kashmiri Muslims, will come in the way of winning their hearts and minds. If we start punishing the icons like Yasin Malik, like Sayyid Ali Shah Gilani, like Mirwais Umar Farooq, who have run Hurriyat, who have from the rooftops proclaimed that Hizbul Mujahideen is their Askari Bazu. Askari Bazu in Persian is sword arm. They are our boys, they are freedom fighters. This is what they've said. So they have legitimized the blood and gore, the massacres, the brutalization of Kashmiri Hindus. If you start punishing them for this, it will alienate them. It will demonize them. It will come in the way of winning hearts and minds. So you gloss over a complete genocide. You refuse to deliver justice. And adding insult to injury, you keep calling us migrants. So my problem is not with the enemy. The enemy is doing what he's been proclaiming from the rooftops that he wants to do. They don't keep it a secret. They say it in their slogans, they say it in their charters, they say it in their speeches. They declare it openly. The problem is within. We've been let down by our own. They want to scapegoat us, give us as hostages, as guarantee of their good intent in Kashmir. So our problem is within. So running a camp, yes, this is a good point to highlight the hypocrisy that prevails in our system. That entire genocide is sought to be whitewashed. We are neither refugees nor internally displaced people. Our FIRs don't merit a court case. Our victims don't merit justice. And all they need to do is throw some money at us and say, pack your bags and go start living back in Kashmir with the people who brutalized you. Because that is when we'll be able to clean the blemish from our forehead that we allowed this genocide to happen under our watch. You know, when a similar thing happened in 99 in Kosovo, in the Adriatic, when Yugoslavia was at war with itself, there was a civil war between Croats and Serbs and Bosnians and, you know, Kosovans and what have you, Albanian origin Yugoslavs. A similar cleansing was taking place at a lesser number. This is 99. From March 20 till April 10, for 20 days plus 21, 22 days, NATO planes flew from their bases in Italy and bombed the civilian areas to prevent that cleansing. And then they had international tribunals trying Robodan Kalanovic and Milosevic, who led the Serbs in trying to harm Bosnians or Croats. There were international trials. They were tried as the president, the chief of the army, defense minister were tried as war criminals. We, on the contrary, are giving the status of a head of a state to Hurriyat people. You know, you should see the car cavalcade when it drives from Delhi airport to Pakistan High Commission. It shames the head of a state's cavalcade. All on our expense. Hundreds of crores. Our Home Ministry, in a reply to RTI, has put it on record. Hundreds of crores every year spent on Hurriyat. Sorry, again, a long-winded answer. I'm sorry. I just keep flowing.
Thanks, Sushilji.
Ashok ji, Rajlakshmi ji, do you have any questions?
जी नमस्कार पंडित जी।
नमस्कार अशोक जी।
नमस्कार। तो मुझको एक व्हाट्सएप मैसेज आया है मधुमिता सरकार जी से फ्रॉम न्यू जर्सी। उन्होंने she actually made a very beautiful portrait of you and she sent it to me and she asked me to share it with you, which I will. But
Wow.
she also wanted to know from you about Raja Lalitaditya.
Okay. Okay. Lovely. Lalitaditya Muktapid was his full name.
जी
Western historians call him the Alexander of the East. He is missing from Indian history books. He's been obliterated. He was born in 699. He became the king of his empire in 720. He ruled from Kashmir. Kashmir was his capital. His empire went down till Kaveri in the south. It went eastwards till Pragjotishpur, which is today's Assam. And in northwest, it went up to Caspian Sea, which is north of Iran.
wow.
His empire was bigger than Akbar's and Ashok's put together. His stories of valor and conquest are amazing. He was a great patron of arts and architecture. But the biggest fact about him is that he built this empire when Islam was spreading like wildfire all over. To give you some reference, I must share with you, Islam came to Indian subcontinent in Sindh in 711 Common Era. About 10 years before Lalitaditya became the king. Now you know why it took 480 years to reach Delhi once it had come to Sindh. Islam swept through Iran in less than 25 years. It swept through Egypt in less than 15 years. These were civilizations, these were not just nations. But it took 480 years to travel from Sindh to Delhi. It didn't come to Kashmir till 1339. His dynasty has been erased from our history books, Karkota dynasty. Lalitaditya was perhaps one of the greatest kings born in India of his time. He ruled during the time of Rashtrakutas were ruling in Maharashtra and Gujarat. The king of Kannauj paid tribute and obeisance to him. And we don't tell our children about Lalitaditya. In fact, it is thanks to Lalitaditya that I am able to say that it isn't that Kashmir is part of India. It's the other way around. India is part of Kashmir.
Okay.
Light away. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to harm anyone, but I offend anyone. But Lalitaditya was a Surya Upasak. He worshipped sun. He was sun worshipper. Aditya behind his name. And he made the greatest and the grandest temples to sun god in Martanda. If you just Google, even in its ruins, you will see what wonderful structure that was. Lalitaditya deserves not just mention, it deserves all the glory in our history textbooks, but our left liberal historians have whitewashed him, like they have whitewashed the entire empire of Mewar, like they have whitewashed the heroism of Rani Lakshmibai, Maharana Pratap, Cholas and Cheras, Vijayanagar Empire, Hampi. They have whitewashed the great Assam, where Mughals were defeated repeatedly. It's a great tragedy. And I'm grateful to Madhumita ji for asking this question, because it takes a separate program to talk about history when it comes to Kashmir.
And I'm telling you, we are thankful to Madhumita ji as well, because of that question, we actually came to know of the existence of a Maharaj with such great qualities and such greatness in him. And we thank you for your detailed explanation. You are an encyclopedia, Pandit ji. I don't know kahan se aata hai itna. You are an encyclopedia. Again, in the interest of time, let us go ahead. Srini Tontaji, Ma Rajalakshmi ji, we will. I think your mic is muted.
All right. Yeah, sorry. My mic was muted. I had an external mic as well. So thank you, Ajit ji, giving me an option, Ashok ji giving me an option to ask a question. To Pandit ji, it's an honor, privilege to listen to you. As Badi ji said, kahan se aata hai, ye sab yahan par hai. Or we ask and it pours out. My question to you is and this is the reason why I'm asking you, because this was my discussion with Panditji and I had the privilege of knowing one-on-one. ये आप जरा इस पे थोड़ा दर्शकों को और व्यूअर्स को डालें कि हनुमान जी कैसे मैं बाला त्रिपुर सुंदरी की दीक्षा मुझे मिली है और एकमात्र मंदिर है क्षीर भवानी का, और जिस दिन मुझे पता चला और क्षीर भवानी के दिन आपसे वार्तालाप हुई, शारदा पीठ के शंकराचार्य जी से वार्ता हुई और मुझे लगा जैसे माँ बाला त्रिपुर सुंदरी ही स्वयं मुझसे बात कर रही हूँ। तो इस पे जरा आप इस पर चर्चा करें। बहुत सुंदर प्रसंग है। और आप पंडित जी वेब सीरीज बनाने जा रहे हैं, 10 वीक्स का होगा, So viewers, look forward to it. And I'm looking forward to it. Go ahead, Panditji.
Okay, thanks for asking this question. We spoke on Jyeshta Shukla Ashtami day.
Yes. Yes.
On this matter, I wish I was there at the temple. I shared with you, my grandfather was a devotee of Shir Bhavani, who's the Tripura Sundari in Kashmir. And he would go there every Ashtami, which means twice in a month, the Shukla Ashtami and the Krishna Ashtami. That would mean about 26 times in a year. In addition, he would go there for other pujas. Sometimes a Yagnopavit Sanskar is happening, sometimes some other Havan is happening. So he would go there, but every Ashtami, come hail, snow, whatever, he would be there. And it's my misfortune that I haven't been there for 26 years, in the sense I took decades in going there. Last I was there, of course, in 2013, when I had gone to a pilgrimage to Harmukh Gangbal. So went there to seek her blessings before the pilgrimage. Before that, I had gone there in 2008 to take my children there who had never seen Kashmir. That was the only time they went to Kashmir. And before that, I had gone there in 80s. So in all of 90s, I couldn't go there till 2008. And this will remain a personal pain forever. Now, what I've heard from the elders is that before the conquest of Sri Lanka, when Prabhu Sri Ram had sent Bajrangbali, Hanumanji, to Sri Lanka, and he met Sita Maiya there, and he was to come back. He also was requested by Mata Tripura Sundari to evacuate her from there. She said, this place is not now appropriate for me. This place, my time here is over. This place is going to get destroyed because of the sins of its leader, its ruler. So I need a change of place. And Hanuman takes her on her shoulder. He says, fine, we'll go looking for a place for you in Himalayas. And that's when she comes to Kashmir. And within Kashmir, the legend has it that she goes to 3-4 places before she finds the village of Tulumula, where Shri Bhavaniji is today established. And then she likes that place. And there she is Virajman in a temple with a pond around it, along with a big Shivalinga by her side. She is also called Maharajna. She is the incarnation of Mahalakshmi. You know how Ravana, through his sheer tapa, through his sheer practice, had controlled almost all the grahas, got them in one house. He also pleased Shiva to such an extent that Shiva, Mahadev, was willing to move from Kailash to Sri Lanka. And if you look at Kailash Parvat, you have those vertical lines around. They are supposed to be the marks left by the rope that he tied around Kailash in order to move Shiva along with his abode to Sri Lanka. So it is that legend I remember of Maharani Tripura Sundari, Bala Tripura Sundari Devi, not only coming to Kheer Bhavani at Thulumala in Kashmir, but also blessing this place by bringing Hanuman along. So both were there. And after establishing her there, Mahavir Hanuman goes back to serve Prabhu Sri Ram in the battle for Sri Lanka and Sita Ma. This is the part of legend that I share with you. Thank you for this opportunity to share it again.
Yes, thank you, Panditji. You cut out quite a bit, but we will wait for the
Okay.
series, because first time I heard that Kashmir was not named Kashmir.
Oh, yes.
The name is different, and it is a Krida Kshetra of Ma Tripura Sundari Shri Lalita Tripura Sundari. Ji boliye.
No, the name was Sati Sara.
Sati Sara.
Sati. So because it was a high mountain lake, a big, huge reservoir of water, and this lake was called Sati Sara because Ma Sati used to come there for Jalvihar. This was her like a picnic spot, a Krida Sthali for her.
Krida Kshetra, yeah.
Krida Kshetra for her. Actually, the entire Himalayas is the Kshetra for Shiva. And in Kashmir, Ma Sati Sarovara, which was called Satisar because it was Sati's Sarovara. That's how the name became Satisara. Belongs to her, which is why the place is called the Uma Kshetra. And when dry land had to emerge for a society to live there, because when there is such a deep, big lake, there are no flat lands for people to inhabit. Only Munis used to live on the slopes in the caves, in the Kandras of Himalaya. There was no way to grow much. But when Jalodbhava was born, a demon born of water, and he had to be slayed, water had to be drained because otherwise he was invincible in water. So Kashyap Muni was the one to help us, my early ancestors of Kashmir. So he came all the way from Kankhal in Haridwar, where these Munis went to beseech him, urge him to come and help. And he drained the water of Satisara for Jalodbhav to emerge without the protection, without the cover. And then Ma Durga, as Sharika, came with a pebble in her beak, which she dropped from a big height. And as it traveled down, it became like a meteorite and crushed Jalodbhava under. And that's how the place became safe for everyone. So Jalodbhava needs to be crushed in Kashmir every time. You can't placate it. You can't win hearts and minds of Jalodbhava. It is in our legend. It is in the very birth of Kashmir. For civilization to take root, for people of dharma to be able to live there, the demon needs to be slayed. And this Ma Sharika, Shari, Sanskrit, is for a bird called Maina. So Ma Durga, Ashtadash Bhuja Durga, Singha Rudani Durga, came as a Maina and slayed this demon, Jalodbhava. There is a shrine, the hill called Hari Parvat has a shrine to Ma Sharika, which is the Durga incarnate, who rescued Kashmir from Jalodbhava and created conditions for people to live there in safety and harmony. So while there is a shrine of Tripura Sundari in Tulamula village of Kheer Bhavani, there is a Ma Sharika shrine at Hari Parvat, which abuts Kashmir, Srinagar, the hillock that looks at Shankaracharya Hill, and in between is the city of Srinagar. On one side is Shankaracharya, on the other side is Hari Parvat. And yes, so these are, I had mentioned to you how not just the Shaiva, not just the Shakta, but even Vaishnavas find sacred places in Kashmir to which there are pilgrimages. And one such place for Vaishnava pilgrims is called Kramasarovar. Kramasarovar is on the peak called Naubandhan, where Manu Maharaj is supposed to have anchored his boat at the time of Jalapralay. And it's also called Vishnupad, because when in his incarnation as Vamana Avatar, Mahavishnu was measuring the entire cosmos, one of the steps he kept there. And that's why the second step he kept there. That's why it's called Vishnupad. So Kashmir's, when I say it is a sacred geography, I mentioned to you there is Sharada Peeth, which is the abode of Ma Saraswati. I've mentioned about Ma Uma, Ma Sati, I've mentioned about Tripura Sundari, I've mentioned about Ma Durga. So the river that ran out as the water was drained emerged Vitasta. And Vitasta's tributaries are like Vishoka and Lambodari, and each one of them have a legend. It is fascinating to know how every speck in Kashmir is so sacred. Every pond, every rivulet, every river, every hill is so sacred that I can't think of Kashmir without us Sanatanis.
जी, ये हमारा दुर्भाग्य है कि हम वहाँ जा नहीं पा रहे हैं। और आपके मुंह से मैंने पहली बार सुना कि सिर्फ कश्यप मुनि से ही कश्मीर नहीं बना। ये माँ दुर्गा का स्थान है, माँ सती का स्थान है, विष्णु भगवान का स्थान है। तो आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू दैट वेब सीरीज एंड we will share it everywhere with everybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
Gigi, you're muted.
Very interesting stories indeed, Pandit Ji, about Kashmir. In fact, I plan to Google some of our Puran and see all these stories. I'm really interested in these stories.
The Puran that you must read is Nilmat Puran.
Nilmat Puran, yes. Yeah. Sure,
which
sure.
has all the legends of Kashmir. Yes.
Sure. Srini Ji, do you have any question for Pandit Ji?
Yes, Sushil Ji, it was really great hearing a lot of the history from you. So I'm still learning a lot about, a lot of these burning topics. But I have some, rational questions. Thanks to the Sanatana Dharma, I truly believe that each soul is divine. I had friends from, various religions, and we chit chat and we talk. So now when I compare and contrast two different, streams of thought process. One as individuals, as a friend, when I'm talking to, other friends from different religions and all, we surprisingly tend to agree on a lot of things, what we think is a common sense as a group. But when it translates to pockets backed by divisive leadership and divisive politics and biased, motives, we are unable to come together on the same stage to solve the problem together. So my point is, as individuals, we were really very easy to get onto agreements, but because of these pockets of vested interests and leaderships are causing the problem, in my opinion. So, probably, that's what, I'm always, proud about the Sanatana Dharma that, I learned. It's so inclusive. So how do you think you try to address this in issue, and what are the paths to really bring the awareness to all involved in solving this issue, to raise the awareness for everybody, not to one group?
Yes, I think we need to move beyond the superficial and the stereotypical about Kashmir, knowledge about Kashmir, and get into deeper, bigger issues which have a seminal potential. It's not just about, it has been reduced to a contest for real estate. Kashmir's population knows very little about its pre-Islamic history. And it has been brought to admire those who have vandalized it, who have brutalized it, who have violated it. Because the truth has been hidden, and what has replaced it is propaganda. We today suffer because we are on two different pages altogether. I'll give you a small little example. And this will tell you what kind of anachronism Kashmir has become. In 1947, when we became independent, we gave ourselves a constituent assembly to draft India's constitution. India's constitution was drafted on 26th of November, 1949, concluded. And on 26th of January, 1950, it was proclaimed. In that constitution, in the Schedule 8, we identified 14 languages as major Indian languages. Kashmiri is one of those original 14 major Indian languages. Over the years, that list was amended 4 times to include 8 more languages. Okay, so now there are 22 languages of India identified as major languages. But the original list of 14 had Kashmiri in it. Why am I telling you this is that this is the only language, the only one, which is not taught in any school. No government works in it. There are no magazines, no newspapers, no textbooks, no syllabus, no qualification. Nothing. We know how people go to war over languages, how people riot because language is the most important marker of any identity. But in Kashmir, you know what they have chosen over Kashmiri is Urdu, which was born 600 years after Kashmiri. Which was born barely 300 years back, 400 years back. Kashmiri literature dates back to 11th, 12th century. Even Hindi literature is not that old. But when the children of that language are bent upon destroying it, Who can save it? And why do you want to destroy it? Because it was born out of Sanskrit, because it connects you with India, because it tells you who you are. It connects you with your pre-Islamic past. So while you speak that language, because it has been orally transmitted from one generation to the other, and you can't so easily kill a language, what you do is you Arabize it, you Persianize it, you stuff its vocabulary with Perso-Arabic words in order to purge it of its native vocabulary, which is more Sanskrit. Now, that is what is happening in Kashmir. That is how you are distorting a culture, an identity, a history, an entire civilization. So this war is at a much higher, bigger plane. It is not about one city, one village, few people, law and order, administration, economy. No. This conflict is what drove native languages out of Egypt. You know, today, entire North Africa, from Morocco till Egypt, speaks Arabic, which was not even born in that continent. The original native language of Egypt is today surviving only in the services of Coptic Church there, because Coptic Church predates Islam. So it has become a dead language surviving in some scriptures and in some rituals. So when it comes to a civilizational battle, this is how civilizations have been destroyed. Persian civilization destroyed, Babylonian civilization destroyed, Egyptian civilization destroyed, Sumerian civilization destroyed. We have survived somehow, but we are gasping. If we are still trying to find a common ground in this conflict, whoever is trying to do that, good luck to him. Because this enemy is implacable. Unless this enemy sheds this obsession to obliterate the other, and unless we willingly commit a suicide and say, fine, we give in, this war is not going to be over. This conflict is not going to end. Because what we are faced with is a predatory idea. It's a predator. It looks at you as a prey. It doesn't look at you as an equal with a legitimate right to survive. So long as this predatory-prey relationship is rewritten, this conflict is not going to go away. That is my two-bit thought on this.
Panditji,
Thank you, Sushil.
we'll limit to a couple more questions in the interest of time. One question that has been asked, which actually comes to all our minds, is from Hariji. He's asking what can be done to return Pandits to Kashmir to their rightful place. How can we provide security to such people who want to return? Should there be gated communities? What should be done?
Very good question. I think parts of it I addressed while I was talking and I was answering other questions. First and foremost, acknowledge why we were driven out in the first place. Acknowledge that we were cleansed because of our faith and a genocide was committed against us. 2, deliver justice. Punish those who did this. 3, retrieve all what was looted, what was grabbed, what was usurped, take it back. So long as it remains in adverse possession, it will remain as an incentive to commit more such genocides. 4, divide the valley of Kashmir into Panun Kashmir and rest of Kashmir. Panun Kashmir belongs to those who were cleansed, and they be rehabilitated in a secure zone where they can rebuild their community and bring up their children with their identity intact. This must happen for us to survive. Because today, when we are spread thin, what we do is lose our language. We lose our ability to practice a lifestyle. Because we do not live as a community, we get subsumed by larger, bigger identities, more aggressive. So we need to create an island. We need to create a region which will give us security, and we don't need any grants, we don't need any charity. As a community, we are quite capable of building our own schools, making our own institutions, running our own hospitals, creating a big place where people can live and raise a community. We need what state owes it to us as a primary responsibility, a secure place. If you don't let us wield arms, nor do you provide us security, then how are we supposed to survive? So we need a land of our own where we can come back and raise a community of our own, run it the way we would love to, as part of this larger Indian civilizational union. And within that, we need an arrangement as Panun Kashmir in the Valley of Kashmir. Panun Kashmir, Panun, the word in Kashmiri is our. The word means our. So within Kashmir Valley, I need my Kashmir, our Kashmir. That is our political demand. And when that comes, we will go there, all of us.
Thank you very much for the answer. One last question from Nayan Patel ji. His question is that in Gujarat, there were riots in 2002. The demographics of Gujarat are the opposite of Kashmir. Are there any lessons from Gujarat for Kashmir that we have learned, or can we learn?
I think there are two completely different examples. First and foremost, Gujarat has under 10% Muslims, and none of them left Gujarat as a result of what happened there. And what happened there in the first place itself was a grave provocation when a train was burnt in Godhra, and almost 60 people, including women and children, were burnt alive. This was without provocation. There was no provocation to burn train full of car sevaks on 28th of February, 2001. What happened was a chain reaction from that, which emerged over the next few days. And then rioting happened in Gujarat. Okay, post Godhra, there were riots in Gujarat where people were killed on both sides. In Kashmir, you cannot show me one example, even as an exception, where any one Hindu may have killed any one Muslim. Not even one. Not a single Muslim died because a Hindu attacked him. In Kashmir, all Hindus died at the hands of Muslims. Deliberate killing. Followed by expulsion from the valley. Gujarat, at least there was a provocation. In Kashmir, what was the provocation? What did we Kashmiri Hindus do to deserve what you did to us? Nobody can point a single example to me on this. It was completely one-sided. Whereas in Gujarat, none of that happened. The demographics in Gujarat do not suggest any such thing could have happened. But what you see is something that had not happened in 70 years of independent India's history, where an entire population segment was expelled from its native lands, where it predated as an aboriginal citizens. Hindus were the original inhabitants of Kashmir. And today, that land doesn't have even 0.1% Hindu population, 1/10 of a decimal place. You can't find such an example anywhere in India. And that too under Indian government, secular Indian government, elected and run by Hindus. So nothing compares to what happened in Kashmir. Thank you.
This was a very interesting talk. We had a number of questions, and we were very privileged to have Pandit Ji. Rajalakshmi Ji, I asked you to give us some closing comments before we end the session.
Sure. Panditji, I am very, very happy, very delighted that you are one of my close friends. And I can, whenever I call, you pick up my phone and we go on long discussion. You know, yours and my heart lives in Sanatan Dharma. And we became what we became because of what we see happening to our Sanatani brothers and sisters. We are basically followers, worshippers of Mahadev and Jagdamba. Somewhere deep down, that's why we connected, you and I. And I connected. मुझे सच पूछिए ना तो साधुओं संतों से चर्चा करने में ही आनंद आता है. और आप एक साधु हैं जिसने गिरवा नहीं पहना है. तभी इतने सुंदर विचार आते हैं. विकृत माइंड से विकृत विचार ही आते हैं. ये मेरा मानना है. और मैं ये भी कहूंगी, चूंकि मुझे कहा, अशोक बादी जी भी बोलेंगे, ये जो पैनल आपके पास है ना, हम सब प्रोफेशनल हैं और हम सब एक तरह से, मैंने तो गेरुआ पहन लिया है, गुरु की इच्छा थी 30 साल पहले ही, पर अब पहना है जब माँ बाप नहीं रहे. पर ये जो पैनल है, ये मेरी तरह ही सनातनी साधु हैं. मन से साधु हैं, कर्म से साधु हैं, विचारों से साधु हैं. मैं ये चाहूंगी कि कश्मीरी भाई बहन जो यहाँ जुड़े हैं या भारत भर के या एनआरआईज जो जुड़े हुए हैं, कभी भी किसी कश्मीरी को कायर मत कहना. क्योंकि कायर वो होता है जो कि सही में उसे मालूम नहीं है क्या करना. भगवान कृष्ण भगवान भी रण छोड़ के रणछोड़ महाराज कहलाए. वो रीग्रुप हुए और अपने वंश को, अपने अनुयायियों को, अपने भाइयों को, बहनों को द्वारिका ले गए और द्वारिकाधीश कहलाए. महाराणा प्रताप भी घास की रोटी खाई 40 दिन तक और रीग्रुप होके भीलों के साथ मिलके, और अकबर को ऐसा हराया कि अकबर फिर भाग गया. उसने अंत में महाराणा प्रताप का पीछा करना छोड़ दिया. शिवाजी महाराज ने भी 23 किले दिए, संधि की, पर ऐसा साम्राज्य बनाया मराठाओं का साम्राज्य जो कि आज भी लोग उसके बारे में चर्चा करते हैं. तो कोई भी कभी, कोई एनआरआई, कोई भारतीय कहीं भी हो, कभी भी किसी कश्मीरी पंडित को कायर मत कहना. और ये मत कहना कि आपने कश्मीर क्यों छोड़ा. अरे क्या करते तो वो, हाँ क्या करते, वहीं रुके रहते. अपनी आंखों के सामने अपनी माँ बहनों, बेटियों, बच्चों, माता पिता, क्या नहीं क्रूरता की उनके साथ. जब भी कोई ऐसी बातें कहता है मेरा खून खौल जाता है. और आज भी लोग, कई लोग हैं जो पंडित जी आपको बुलाते हैं अपने फोरम में और वो ऐसी बातें कर आपसे पूछते हैं कि आप लोग गए क्यों. आपको मालूम है ये बात दूसरी और ये भी है, हम इस समय साइलो होके, आई एम सो हैप्पी पंडित जी आपने ये बात की चर्चा की कि कश्मीर में सिर्फ कश्मीरी पंडितों का ही आनंद नहीं हुआ, पूरे भारत के लोगों का हुआ है। कितने आर्मी मैन कश्मीर में मरे हैं जितना कहीं नहीं, किसी वॉर में भी नहीं मरे हैं। और एकता कपूर ऐसी मूवीज बना रही है। अब समय है, और आपने यही कहा कि कमी हम में है, अब समय है कि हर भारतवासी कश्मीर शैविज्म के बारे में जाने, शारदा पी लिपि को जाने, तभी इसका उत्थान होगा। ये इस बात को कश्मीरी पंडित लोग अपने पर न छोड़ें। तो आज थोड़ा मैं नॉर्मली जब मुझे माइक दिया जाता है तभी बोलती हूँ, नहीं तो नॉर्मली जो मेरे स्पीकर है उनका मैं सुनती हूँ। पर आपने कुछ ऐसी बातें कहीं, ऐसे कुछ दुखते हुए रग मेरे मन के अंदर छेड़ दिए, तो बात ये निकल आई है। So these are my comments that now this is the time for all NRIs and people living in India to come together and see what's happening. What's happening? ये हमारे ऊपर आघात चारों ओर से हो रहा है, हर तरफ से हो रहा है। हमारे संस्कारों पे गौ हत्या हो रही है। बताओ, किसी ने गाय को ही अनार खिला दिया हरियाणा में? हाँ, कैसी क्रूरता, कैसी बर्बरता आ गई है। I can keep on going, but Panditji, thank you very much for joining me and being my friend, my precious friend.
Panditji, I will now ask Shivas to give his closing comments. I understand your talk is extremely interesting. We do not have the heart to go away. I understand Shivas also has a question too, but I'll ask him to talk now.
Thanks, Ajit ji, and thanks, Sushil ji again. So I have last question from the audience, which is related to current Indian government. So they want to know, like, how sensitive is the Indian government for adopting the bill of recognition of Kashmiri Hindu genocide? So what is the likelihood of adopting that bill? And what impact, it is a second question, what impact we people here, who are dispersed all over Detroit, from Delhi to Detroit, can make to adopt that bill?
Yes. So, like Article 370, irrespective of which government ruled, which party won the elections, who was the prime minister, there was some political consensus in our political class over the last 70 years that we have to continue with it, irrespective of the postures, irrespective of the manifestos, irrespective of campaign speeches, irrespective of studio debates. Government after government sustained it till August 5. Government after government feels that in Kashmir, if we raise the issue of Kashmiri Hindus and what happened to them, it will anger the Kashmiri Muslims because it amounts to demonizing them, because it tells the world that what they did with a small microscopic minority was horrible. And if they do this, it will come in the way of winning hearts and minds in Kashmir. This is a simple equation, which our bureaucracy has somehow created as an albatross around our political leadership's neck. So together, they continue to bear this ignominy of not acknowledging what happened to Kashmiri Hindus in the Kashmir Valley. I mean, it is ironical, the biggest antidote to Pakistani propaganda, to jihadi propaganda world over, that India, Indian state, Indian army is causing problems in Kashmir, is committing atrocities in Kashmir. The biggest antidote is, what did you do to Hindus to start with all this? How did it all start? But the government who needs to wield this as a weapon, this antidote as the most effective instrument, is shy of using it, is running away from it. That is the irony. But just as we got them to undo Article 370 through sheer weight of public opinion, I think awakened Hindu, assertive Hindu, united Hindu will achieve the other seemingly difficult tasks too. The tide has turned. It is on our side. The world is realizing that what we face in Kashmir is what they face in London tube bombings, in Glasgow bombings, in Manchester attack, in London Bridge attack, on 9/11. Whatever is happening across the world, Bali bombing, Madrid bombing, French Charlie Hebdo attacks. Imagine a maternity ward was bombed in Kabul. A Gurdwara was bombed where a handful of Sikhs and Hindus are left now. 25 were killed. Do a few hundred Hindus, Sikhs in Afghanistan represent a threat to anyone? No, but somebody goes as a suicide bomber to bomb a Gurdwara, the only functional Gurdwara in Kabul. They don't stop at just that. Shias are bombed in their funeral processions, in their mosque congregations, because that is where you can get them in a bunch. Otherwise, they look the same in marketplaces, in other public places. So where do they come together as a bunch? Only Shias are either in their mosque or in their burial grounds. So you won't spare them even in a funeral procession, even while they are praying. So when such venomous, hateful intolerance catches hold of a bunch, then the world has to deal with it unitedly, which is why I said the time is on our side. We only need to build this opinion. The old ways of looking at the world, the old equations, the old concepts, the old theories, all those old ways of dealing with it are crumbling under the own weight of contradictions. We just need to aid that process, help that process. Shame those who are resisting acknowledging a genocide in Kashmir and would love to call themselves Hindu Hriday Samrat. Shame those who wear their patriotism on the sleeve and are reluctant to make a decisive blow on this enemy in Kashmir and would rather make deals, would rather make concessions and sweep this most potent weapon in your weaponry under the carpet. I think it is time to ask jihadis in Kashmir what happened to Hindus in Kashmir. Just as this question must be asked as to what happened to the Jews in Yemen. What happened to the Jews in Saudi Arabia? Middle East was full of Jews. What happened to the Jews in Egypt? What happened to the Jews in Syria? What happened to the Jews in Iraq? What happened to the Jews in Iran? What happened to the Hindus in Afghanistan? Where did they disappear? What happened to the Hindus in Pakistan? What happened to the Hindus in Bangladesh? What happened to the Hindus in Kashmir? Time to ask these questions. Because in the answer to these questions lies the truth and a blow to hypocrisy that shies away from admitting the genocide going on for centuries. We just have to keep asking those questions diligently, relentlessly. And one day, and that day is not too far, that we will prevail. I'm absolutely sure. Our time has come. Thank you, Shivaji.
Thank you very much for the answer, Panditji. I ask Hari to, one of our panelists, to make his comments.
Thank you very much for your time, Panditji. It's always been a pleasure every time we interact with you. It was great interacting with you when you were in Detroit. I had a pleasure to hosting you for a night, and I am very excited about your web series. We look forward for the web series. Apart from Kashmir, I think so. There isn't a lot of information about even the Indian independence and everything. Whatever false propaganda has been made is what everyone believes, that that's how we got independence. At some forum, I think so. If you have the opportunity, please do also include those so that I know Kashmir, sometimes the problem is not everyone from India tries to relate themselves to Kashmir, and they don't see it as their problem. And that's kind of the problem with a lot of our brothers and sisters, wherein unless it's their problem in their house, they don't speak, they don't come out. They don't really, and I'm not blaming them or anything, but I think so. One thing they would all relate themselves is towards the independence of India, and then if we are able to bring in facts about that, that's going to actually help them open up how much false propaganda goes on, how much wrong stuff is stuffed into the books and forced on us to learn. So thank you again for your time, and I look forward for your web series.
Thank you so much for these kind words and this opportunity. I may only want to ask, have you recorded this entire interaction?
Yes.
And if you had, could you please share a link with me?
Sure, definitely, Panditji.
Thank you.
Ashokji, I bring you in to make your comments.
जी, thanks, Dr. Ajit. पंडित जी, आपसे बात करते हुए वक्त तो गुजर जाता है, but there are people who keep asking questions. क्या करें? We got to accommodate them. So I apologize if we are causing any inconvenience to you. I understand it is
Not
getting
at all.
to you.
Not at all. I'm comfortable sitting at home and I'm enjoying every bit of it. Thank you for this opportunity.
So I have a question from Sri Satya Dosapati ji from the state of New Jersey. His question to you is, in the battle between India and Pakistan, Hindus and Muslims, what are your views on Western global design of using this, the Hindu-Muslim issue, as a tool to contain and convert India using Pakistani Muslims? So what are your comments on that?
You see, this is a larger, bigger dimension of the problem. Like the African continent has been neatly divided between the church and Islam. The sub-Saharan Africa is where they contest each other. Southern Africa is pretty much Christianized. The Northern Africa is pretty much Islamized. And now the conflict rages on in places like Nigeria, where Boko Haram is active, in places like East Africa, where Al-Shabaab is active. And in other states where Al-Qaeda in Africa is active, where Islamic State is active, where Janjaweed is active in Sudan. So you see these faith colonialists, I call them. You know, there was a time when you were creating colonies for economic riches. Now, this business of harvesting souls and Islamizing the world through jihad is to create faith colonies, colonizing people through faith, destroying their native identity, destroying their indigenous culture, destroying their lifestyle, their language. You're trying to create clones in different parts of the world. And because this is not easy to do, you have to denigrate and humiliate them and get them to disparage their own ancestors, force them to renounce their own roots. This becomes bloody and messy. Sir Naipaul has written extensively in his work, in his literature, like Area of Darkness, A Wounded Civilization, his books like Among the Believers. He's documented it brilliantly across the world, what happened in India, what happened in Indonesia, what happened in Africa. I believe we need to survive all these onslaughts. In India, the irony is, and I recently tweeted about it because some data came a few months back, that of all the scholarships that central government gave till 2018, in 2018-19 that is, 1 year back, 80% of the scholarships given by 19 ministries of government of India, 80% of those scholarships went to Muslims. About 8% went to Christians. About 5% went to Sikhs. And about 4.5% went to Hindus. I repeat these figures. 80% of all government scholarships by 19 ministries of government of India in last year, 2018-19, 80% of those scholarships went to Muslims, 7% went to Christians, 5% went to Sikhs, 4.5% went to Hindus. I said, when missionaries convert us, they at least bring church dollars. When madrasas Islamize us, they bring petrodollars. Indian economy at least receives some dollars when a soul is harvested or when a Hindu is Islamized. But government of India is using Hindu taxpayer money to convert us. Because this data tells an average Hindu, if you want scholarship from government of India, you have to first convert. So Hindu taxpayer money is going into converting Hindus because government of India has a clear discrimination. We have a proselytizing state in our country now that uses my money to convert me. Unless you raise awareness levels on these issues, what West is trying to do, what West Asia is trying to do, pales into insignificance. How our state and its instruments have been captured from within to influence policy. how the establishment is doing the bidding of these faith colonialists is incredible. I wonder if I have answered your question.
Yes, you did. You sure did. Again, Shivas, you were looking to ask a question. Do you have any questions to Paniji? Your voice is muted, Shivas.
Sorry. Yeah, not a question, but a comment. We left actually Kashmir bruised and battered, so everyone knows that, with the thought of from a Bhagavad Gita, where we say Yato Dharma Tato Jaya. So where there is righteousness, so there is a victory. So we are still waiting after 30 years of exile that we will stand victorious one day, and that day is not that far. Thank you, Sushil.
Dr. Ajit.
I hope it happens.
Your voice
there is a question from Ila from Canada. She wants to know why we do not see interviews and documentaries on people that have actually suffered and went out from Kashmir. There are so many Pandits that are living in India that are and outside India that have been forced to and expelled from Kashmir. Why do we not see interviews from them, or them being there being a documentary about this?
As I told you, there was an institutional hesitation in even talking about us. It was discouraged. We were told to keep quiet because it embarrasses government of India. Because if you scream too loud, questions will be asked as to why government of India allowed this. What was your Prime Minister doing? What was your Parliament doing? What was your Supreme Court doing? We are still told, don't talk about genocide, don't talk about atrocities. It alienates the Muslims in Kashmir. Please don't talk about these horrendous tales, because it comes in the way of winning hearts and minds. I can't tell you, there is genocide on one side, there is denial of genocide on the other side. We feel as if we are crushed between the two. The enemies committed the genocide, the friends commit the denial of genocide. And these two rocks are literally crushing us in between.
जी, मैं इसमें ऐड करना चाहूँगी, जो पंडित जी कह रहे हैं, इनकी अपनी पीड़ा है। मैं 15 साल से, मैं आप लोग जानते हैं, मैं हर एक फोरम में बोलती रहती हूँ जहाँ मौका मिलता है। मैं 15 साल से कश्मीरी पंडितों के जेनोसाइड की बात कर रही हूँ, और कई बार ऐसा हुआ है मेरे साथ। अशोक बादी जी तो मेरे साथ मंच पे भी साथ में रहे हैं। मेरे हाथ से माइक ले लिया जाता था। मीडिया जो थी, यहाँ की मीडिया, वो अपने कैमरास बंद कर देती थी। आज कश्मीरी पंडितों के बारे में बात करना फैशन हो गया है। तभी हम बात कर रहे हैं और हम सुन रहे हैं। अभी नोआखाली का जेनोसाइड की फैशन नहीं हुआ है, उसके बारे में कोई बात नहीं करता। श्रीलंका के 250,000 Tamil Hindus were driven into the ocean, और उनके साथ भी वही हुआ था जो कश्मीर में हुआ। वो अभी फैशन नहीं हुआ है उसके बारे में बात करना। तो ये पीड़ा जो पंडित जी के हृदय में है ना, ये 7 एक्सोडस की पीड़ा है। और वो अभी भी हो रहा है, वो अभी भी हो रहा है। भारत के छोटे-छोटे पॉकेट्स में हो रहा है। और हम हैं कि चुप बैठे हैं, अपने में ही आनंद ले रहे हैं, मेडिटेशन कर रहे हैं, हवन कर रहे हैं, पूजन कर रहे हैं। उतने में ही हम खुश हैं कि हमने कर लिया, हम निर्वाण ले लेंगे। अरे भगवान निर्वाण के लिए नहीं आएंगे तुम्हें लेने के लिए। मैं कहती हूँ भगवान नहीं आएंगे, क्योंकि हम शुद्ध रूप से सनातनी नहीं है। भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने क्या किया था? युद्ध किया था। उनकी इच्छा होती तो ये कौरव पांडवों के बीच में युद्ध होता ही नहीं, पर उन्होंने समूल नाश किया था। जब हम दुश्मनों का समूल नाश करेंगे ना, तब सनातनी बनेंगे।
जी।
सॉरी पंडित जी, आपका समय ले रही हूं मैं।
I understand Ashok Badi ji has a comment to make. Go ahead, Ashok ji.
Yeah, one, it's kind of an observation from me, not a comment or a remark, but generally when we talk about Kashmir, it brings about a lot of passion, even for a person like me who comes from Telangana. I know I have friends from Andhra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. We are very emotive. We think Kashmir is us. We are Kashmir. The Kashmir is a part of Bharat. But somehow, I don't see a lot of traction among the Kashmiri community and the Kashmiri Pandits who belong to that region. I fail to understand why. So again, I'm going to turn my comment or a remark into a question, and to what should be done to actually motivate the people of that region to get united at least now?
You see, what hit us very hard in 1990 was complete apathy in rest of India. And not just in 1990, through the 90s and through the next decade, the first decade of this century, the 2010s. It is now in the last 5 years that people have begun to wake up to a tragedy that happened 30 years ago. So somehow one felt that perhaps everybody has turned their backs on us. Government of India is not interested in us. The larger Hindu society is busy with something else. You know what happened when we were being driven out? There were Shila Pujans happening for Ayodhya everywhere. There was a government in center which was supported by BJP. Nobody brought it down on our issue. It eventually came down because Advani ji's Rath was stopped at Samastipur by Lalu. But it didn't come down on the issue of Hindus being driven out of Kashmir. There was no hue and cry. There was absolutely no awakening. We thought that there'll be chaos. 90 crore Hindus of this country will not let this happen. Indian population was 90 crore. So at least 80 crore, 75 crore Hindus would not let this happen. But the point is, we as a community spent most of our time finding our feet, restarting lives from scratch, raising our children. Some of us were fortunate to have succeeded in rebuilding their lives. Lot of us, now those who are visible to you are a few, top of the apex. The lower end of the pyramid is still struggling in camps, in ghettos, trying to make ends meet. And when you hear our Prime Minister say that the first right on India's resources is of the Muslims, when you see our murderers, our tormentors being invited to Prime Minister's house for a breakfast with him and a photo op with him, then even that flicker of hope that was there, that something might happen, died. We are very few of us, Ashok ji. All put together, we are not even 1 million. Even if you include the families into which our daughters are married or our sons are married, the non-Kashmiri families, if you include all of them also, we are not even 1 million. We are very small. in a country of 1,200 million plus or 1,300 million plus, 1.3 billion, we are not even 1 million. And we have been completely forsaken, left to our own devices. So I guess this disappointment and this sense of humiliation that those who were supposed to fight for us, stand by us, have other priorities, are busy. It may seem that a lot of us have moved on, but that is not a fact. I work among Kashmiri community and I get a lot of resonance. I get a lot of traction, a lot of involvement. I think it is our failure, it's my failure, that if there is still a lot of lacuna, we'll strive hard to make up for that. And in the time to come, you'll see much bigger participation, much greater resonance within the community.
I hope that is true. And I hope all of us, like you said, I might probably partially disagree saying you're only a small portion, because we all feel we are Kashmiris too. So we are all, you can add all our count with that 1 million and we'll be a much larger number. We are all with you. We are all for Kashmir and we've always been with Kashmir. Having said that, I would like Maharaja Lakshmi ji to give her closing remarks. And Pandit ji, maybe after Dr. Ajit speaks, you can give your final concluding statements.
We have gone through this closing remark many, many times. Panditji, we don't want you to go. Your audience, actually, it's being streamed on many, many places. I'm getting messages that Rajalakshmi ji, I'm streaming it from here. So we have a greater audience. ये आपका प्रताप है, ये आपकी महानता है कि आप, you know, in your verbiage you include I am sorry, ये मेरी गलती है. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. जैसे आपने कहा, ये एक समय था कि हम ही नहीं जानते थे. आज तो इंटरनेट की वजह से सब कुछ सभी के सामने है, कोई छुपा नहीं सकता, तो बातें जाहिर हो जा रही हैं. आपकी कमी कहीं नहीं है. आप सालों से लड़ रहे हैं और अपनी फैमिली, I'd like audience to know, not only Panditji, if Panditji can be the main, Hariji, can you make him lock the view so he will be seen? Panditji has not done anything for himself. He could have taken an official position. He could have, he is brilliant. He is an intellectual. He is an author. I mean, I can go on. You can Google and you would know all his qualifications. So selfishly, he could have done things for himself, but he did not. He did not. He did not seek a position. So now it's up to us to see what we can do. He's a warrior. He's our Yodha. He's a Sanatani Yodha. He, जो पंडित हैं, जो पुजारी हैं, जो पुरोहित हैं, जो मंदिरों में पूजा करते हैं, भगवान की आराधना करते हैं, पंडित जी भी वैसे ही आराधक हैं, महादेवी के, सदाशिव महादेव के हैं. So it's our duty and kartavya to take care of him, and so he does not have to think about his legal battles. If you are an attorney and you're listening, reach out to Panditji in his email and say how you can help. There are many, many, many ways you can help. And Ashok Badiji and we and Ajitji and Hari and many of us have taken this challenge of uniting NRIs for likes of Pushpendraji, likes of Sushil Panditji, G.D. Bakshiji, Chaitan Rajahansji. There are many, many, many more. We have a secure zone. We have a secure life here. But now it's in turn, we need to help those who are fighting for us. They are our soldiers, just like the soldiers who wear army uniforms and fight for you. Panditji is no less than that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pandit Ji. It was very interesting as usual and very insightful. You gave a lot of new information about the progress the government has made, or regress in, for that matter, on Article 370, that redoubles our effort to fight for the cause. In fact, there were so many questions that we received on WhatsApp, and people are watching this, and we went well beyond our time. And Panditji was gracious to stay with us. We once again are very thankful and very happy for the insight you gave us. Obviously, we will definitely have you back again to share your knowledge with us. With us, I'd ask you to make your final comments before we end the session.
And we will close after that.
First of all, I'm really grateful. I'm really honored that you've spent so much time being so patient with me and given me this opportunity to connect with a large audience that is following this program. And I'm grateful to Lord Almighty that we have well-wishers like you sitting there all the way. I cannot thank my good fortune enough to have given me Maharaj Lakshmi ji like well-wisher and Ashok ji like friend. So far away, who worry, who are concerned, who call often and check for welfare. It's really encouraging, and it makes every bit that we are able to do worth that effort. So I'm truly grateful and sincerely humbled by your kind words. And this will really help me, my friends, our team, to give a lot more that is possible, that we can, and we will. Thank you so much. Keep the encouragement flowing. Keep your blessings coming.
Jai Siya Ram.
And
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri
Thank you,
Ram.
Pandit Ji, and thank you all the panel, especially Rajalakshmi Ji, Ashok Ji, Shivas Ji, Hari Ji, and Srini Ji. Thank you very much. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai
Jai
Siya Ram. Jai Jai Siya Ram.
Jai Jai Siya Ram.
Har Har Mahadev.
Hara 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 Mahadev.
Ji.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.